The one who started in 2021. Some of our students who were, there for the CNTAA course, and they completed their CPL exams, went for flight training, they are back, and now they are going for these airline assessments. So that's amazing.
Hello everyone. So the first quarter of the year 2023 is over. Now we have 3 more quarters of 2023, and if you are looking to become a pilot and are you thinking that whether this is the right time for you to become a pilot, then we are going to discuss about it. And let's start with the year 2023 right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and in this March 2023, we complete 1 year to Pilot Podcast.
Yes,
so that's
definitely.
first anniversary of Pilot Podcast.
Yes.
And yes, all the students like who enroll at CNTAA, they enjoy it. And if you are an aspiring pilot, don't forget to watch this. It is definitely a very useful tool in lot of decisions which you would be making in your pilot career, as well as it gives you a lot of insight on this entire pilot training process and how it would look like to you going forward.
Yes, and thank you for showing your love and support for Pilot Podcast. It's been a year and we have shot 23, 24. This is the
Yes.
24th episode.
Yes.
We have shot 23 episodes and you have showered a lot of love and support for us. So thank you for that. And we hope to bring you some exciting podcasts down this year as well.
Absolutely.
And yes, have you heard starting on a good note, I would say in this week, the past week, there has been a vacancy for a CPL holder,
Yes.
as well as the one who is type rated.
Yes,
So let's start with
absolutely.
that.
Yes, this is firing news in the
Yeah.
market, and the India's largest airline has come up with this vacancy, which many CPL holders were waiting for. And this vacancy, everyone is now charged up. Okay, we just have 20 days. What to do? What is 20, 25 days? What to do and how to go about? So the one who have CPL or the one who have just applied, getting too many calls on how we should prepare about this particular vacancy. So the thing is here, it's about more of going more and more deep into your knowledge to clear the first round of the assessment. So basically assessments are divided in 4 stages, but out of that the first one is the major screening round, in which many candidates are eliminated, and thereafter again some 10% of them are eliminated.
So each process of the airline assessment is the process of elimination. So those
Absolutely.
who clear the round, they'll move ahead. So
Absolutely.
so let's say 100 people apply for this vacancy.
Yes.
So each and every round they're eliminating few number of candidates.
Yes.
And at the end, for the final personal interview, there would be
Yes.
around 20, 25 or 30, maybe
Right.
40 if everyone is good.
Absolutely, yes.
So around 40 people would be there for their interview.
Yes.
And out of that, depending on the airline, they'll recruit the pilots.
Absolutely.
So right now, those who have CPL, give
Yes.
it your best. You have 1 month. If you give it your best, if you clear your interview, you get into the airline.
Absolutely. And plus, Air India also conducted that written exam in first week of this month, which is in April 2023. And this airline has also come up with it. So there is a lot of thing going on in Indian aviation market at the moment.
Yes.
And so pilots who ask me what we should do, what now we have the CPL now, how we should go about it. So this is the most challenging time, I would say. So first of all, in this kind of vacancy, if in case that student has done flight training in India, then he has studied these subjects once. And now it is the time when he has to study these subjects to ATPL standards. Okay, so that is something which you need to do more than what the student has done before for CPL. If in case that student has done their flight training from abroad, then I would say in order to complete the entire syllabus of Indian curriculum, they need to study technical general as well as ATPL level standard for navigation, radio aids, instruments, and
Got it.
met. So these things need to be done, which I would say And some students are under the impression that particular airline has a particular question bank. Okay. But believe me, this is question bank based study does not work. Okay. And just doing question bank will not work. So first of all, it is very important that you understand the concept and then solve questions, which is fair enough. Okay.
Yes. So
And-
basically, if someone knows the concept,
Yes.
he or she will be able to solve around thousands of questions.
Absolutely.
But if they go and study the question bank, they study the 1,000 questions, they'll be able to solve only those questions. If
Correct.
anything outside that question bank comes,
Yes.
they would be clean bowled.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is not quite possible to remember all these numbers and all
Yes,
these answers.
definitely.
It's impossible. There are like so many thousands of questions in that
Yes.
question bank also. It's impossible. One thing, and in that question bank, if many people who have it would be seeing, all the answers are AAA. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not really just possible to just go through that and then pass your exam. Okay, you need to really know the stuff in order to clear that exam. Okay, and it is not necessary that all the questions would come from there. And some people ask, what is the passing percentage for this written exam for airline? It all depends on how much requirement they have. Like for example, they have a requirement of 300 students or 300 pilots. Then in that case, they will, whoever are the best, whoever score the best, they would be selected.
I mean, the top
Okay.
25 who score, let's say there's a requirement of 50 and 100 candidates apply. So the top 50 who scored good would be going for the next round, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's the way, how airlines would go for. And definitely everybody wants the best lot, right?
Yes.
So it is very important that you prove yourself the best among all. Like, you don't have to consider others as your competition. You have to perform your level best. Okay.
So you are your own competition.
Absolutely.
Okay? So if you improve every day 1%, then by the time you go for the interview, you will be your best.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to perform at your best, be at your best when you are giving the airline assessment. If you think that every person there is your competition, that is not a right mindset.
Correct.
But they are your colleagues, right?
Correct. Absolutely. Yes. So everybody needs to work in cohesion, and you need to work for yourself. And in case if someone is around to help, then yes, definitely. Apart from that, so this is about the written exam, which is one of the most elimination round. Thereafter comes is then the airlines would assess the psychometry of pilots, which we have highlighted enough in the previous podcasts, that what is the reason why these psychometry tests are conducted. That also we have highlighted.
Yes.
So those are the things because of which it's there. And then some cognitive skill tests which are there. Apart from that, once this is done, thereafter group discussion. So basically a pilot needs to act and behave in a group. Like if we are a pilot, then a first officer is there, then he has to interact with a captain and ensure that the flight is conducted safely. So whether that pilot is able to speak up, whether he is assertive or certain characteristic traits, and not fight when there is any kind of disagreement on any point. In that case, so those things are looked at in group discussion. So where one topic would be given and then you need to discuss about it. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah, it
So-
shows your confidence also. Like
Yes, so group discussion is mostly about how a person interacts in a team,
correct.
whether he or she is able to perform a given task as a
Absolutely.
team and not as an individual. So that is very
Absolutely.
important as a pilot, because when there is a multi-crew cockpit, so both of the crew members have to do the task together for the outcome. Let's say the
Absolutely.
outcome is going from destination A to destination B. So they both have to work in cohesion. They have to work together as a team
Correct.
for operation of the flight successfully. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, if the coordination is not there between two pilots, then
Flight cannot be conducted
yes,
safely.
Yes.
Yes, so it is very important that that coordination is good and they are performing towards the task. Okay, and they are good to each other also, and not demean other person because of any reason, and not disrespect other person, be respectful to others and their opinions. So these things are looked at in GD, and then after in interview, of obviously there are different rounds in that is certain knowledge based questions and certain questions about the individual himself. So he should be properly groomed. It is very important that the grooming is done perfectly.
Grooming is the number one thing for any interview, I would say, for pilots as well, because that is in your control. Properly ironed shirt, proper outfit with your buttons closed, tie properly knotted. So if there is an error in your grooming, it is directly visible to the interviewer, and the first question would be on that.
Correct.
And that shows that your preparedness is not at the best. You can improve. So grooming, make sure everything is perfect, starting from head to toe. Your clothes are ironed, your shoes are shining, then the fitting is perfect, and generally the attire for the interview is, or generally the dress code for interview is formals. You can wear it's called blazer, or what is it called? Suit and
formal, like a shirt, formal shirt, trousers
and
with tie
and a coat, right?
If possible, coat. That is better, like blazer. Okay, so that is a better option if you can. Then of course.
Yeah, that is the dress code for interview, and make sure if a boy is going, if a male candidate is going, clean shave for sure. And for girls, I don't know, you would be able to guide better.
For girls, it is more of neatly tied hair, and not any messy look, and obviously like eyebrows properly done, and not any funky colors. So it should be in more of formal colors, like subtle colors. Shouldn't be bright colors like
neon green.
Yeah. So whatever shirts or the color that you choose, it should be like subtle, and be respectful towards the interviewers, so that you know that you are presentable, as well as you are showing your interactive skills that way.
This is about the airline assessment preparation. We are talking about should one become a pilot in 2023. Recently the 12th exams are over, and now the students who have just cleared their 12 or maybe even waiting for their results. So right now is the time they are deciding on their career.
Correct.
And if you see in the last couple of years, like let's say 2019, there was a downturn in the aviation industry. So the people were very scared to go for the conventional pathway, and everyone was waiting for the cadet pilot program.
Correct.
But now the cadet pilot program and the conventional pilot program, both are good options. You get good opportunities in both the program, as the airline industry is growing rapidly. So if anyone is willing to become a pilot, they can go either for cadet or for conventional. Okay, both pathways are really good for now. And if someone wants to start right after the 12th, if they have their finances in place, and if they want to start after the 12th, there is no requirement of a degree to become a pilot. Now, when we speak about the finances, there are many people who have a budget of around 30-35 lakh rupees. So to become a pilot, minimum amount you need in India is around 40 to 45 lakh rupees. And after that, you only get a CPL. So the price amount which is quoted by many people in the industry is you become a pilot in around 40-45 lakh rupees. But that is not true. Because in 40-45 lakh rupees, you get a CPL, and then additional 10 to 12 lakh rupees for the type rating, 10 to 12 lakh rupees for the airline training. So overall, if someone wants to become a pilot and do their training from India in the conventional pathway, the minimum amount they should be looking at is 65 to 70 lakh rupees for their whole pilot training until they reach the airline. So now there are also students who have they want to train outside India, USA, because they have the craze to like go outside India.
Correct.
And that is not a wrong thing. Like they get to experience different cultures, they get to experience different training infrastructure.
Correct.
And they get to experience a lot of things, doing things by their
Correct.
own, managing their own daily chores,
Correct.
and managing their finances alone, cooking their
Correct,
food alone.
correct.
So that is there. But again, the training in US is kind of expensive right now because the dollar, it has gone up to 83-84 rupees.
Oh my God, okay.
And that has increased the cost of training in US.
Absolutely.
So earlier, where the training was used to get done in around 50 lakh rupees, 50 to 55 lakh rupees, right now that training cost has gone up to 60 lakh rupees. That is
Oh.
just for the commercial pilot training.
Okay.
And this 60 lakh rupees includes everything: your accommodation, your food, your visa, tickets, the
Okay.
cost of pilot training. And then once you come back to India, you have to convert your license.
Correct.
So for that conversion, you have to pass certain check rights, which is your GFT day night IR check,
Correct.
and day night VFR checks.
Correct.
So there are like you have to fly around 8 hours of check rights in India, which will cost
Correct.
you around 3 to 4 lakh rupees depending on which aircraft you fly.
Correct.
So that brings the cost to 64 to 65 lakh rupees.
Correct.
Now, after that, if you go for type rating, 10 to 12 lakh rupees additional.
Correct.
And 10 to 12 lakh rupees additional for the airline training, depending
Correct.
on the airline. So that brings the cost to around 85 to 90 lakh
Correct,
rupees.
correct,
Okay.
correct, correct.
And this is if everything goes right.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Now, if the dollar rate goes, let's say 85, 86, 87, then the cost will go additionally 5
Correct,
lakh
correct,
rupees,
correct,
because you are not paying in rupees, you are paying in dollars.
Correct.
So let's say around $70,000 would be the total expense in US.
Correct.
You are paying it in rupees. So
Absolutely.
the conversion rate matters.
Absolutely.
So if anyone is looking to become a pilot, make sure you sort out your finances first. You plan
Absolutely.
how much you are going to spend. Now, if someone's budget is around 40-45 lakh rupees, they can stretch up to 50 lakh rupees, do their instructor rating and do their training from India. Once you become instructor, work for 2 to 3 years as a flight instructor, you will make good money. You can save money for your type rating in those span of 3 years. Also, you'll build 1500 hours and get an ATPL.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that is also one pathway if someone is short on finances. Okay. So this is about the finances.
Absolutely.
So right now is a great time, according to me, to become a pilot. So if you see 2023, okay, the aviation industry is moving towards a high. So right now it's just the start of high. So the high is 2 to 3 years away from now. That's what I think. Right now, because of the orders and everything placed, the prediction is that in coming 2 to 3 years, the Indian aviation industry would be on peak.
Absolutely.
But this highs and lows comes in the aviation market, comes everywhere. There is no constant that this industry is going to remain constant. If anything happens, the industry can go down as well. And COVID, everyone saw, right?
Absolutely. Once there is a
Yeah.
high, after few years,
yes.
there is low.
So COVID was a low, and it was I would say, the lowest of the lows, right?
Correct.
And now, I mean, in the next 2 to 3 years, the high would be the highest of aviation.
Correct.
So if someone is looking to become a pilot, 2023 is a great year to start your pilot training.
Absolutely.
But with that said, there would be competition as well. So
Correct.
there are many students or many aspiring pilots who want to become pilots. So there would be competition,
Yeah,
and you would have to
absolutely.
work hard.
Absolutely, that comes without saying. In every profession there is competition. So whenever there are highs, so I have seen this aviation industry from the year 2006.
Yes.
Like when
Yes,
I
when you
completed
started.
my 12th and I started. Okay, so if I tell you like right from there, then you would see there are highs, lows. It's
Yes.
always there. Like for example, when I started that time, there was pilot career boom. There was so much of opportunity, like how it is now. I mean, now it is way more than what it was back then.
True.
Because now the population is more. Many people are traveling by air, as well as so many airplane orders have been placed, which was never before in Indian aviation. And back then there was a high because many airlines opening was there. Kingfisher opened, then the current highest market share airline Indigo has had a started its operation.
India's largest airline. you can say.
Thereafter, even Go Air had started operations. So many airlines started their operations newly, and many aircrafts order was placed. Okay, so because of that, what happened that so many pilots were required, and many people were going after 12th. Many people were taking admission for pilot training. So that was the time even I had started my pilot training. So when I completed, that time global recession hit.
Yes.
So what happens is, time duration to complete pilot training, optimum time duration is about 1.5 to 2 years. 1.5 is quite compressed and stretched. You can say 2 years from
2
the
years,
time you
yes.
decide to become a pilot till the time you get your CPL. Optimum is 2 years. So I started in 2006. I got CPL in 2008, mid 2008. And then when I got it, I applied in Jet Airways. I cleared all the rounds, and they put us on hold. Just because global recession hit that time, and the fuel prices hiked, and then all the orders were put on hold, and all the vacancies were put on hold. So I was one of them. So when I started that time, there was peak. When I finished that time, there was trough. So we cannot predict that what is going to happen after a few years.
Definitely.
Now, the one who have got CPL at this point of time have started when there was COVID in
Yes,
2021.
yes.
Now, the one who are getting an opportunity to write this exam are the ones who have started when people were not going in pilot career.
Yes, true.
So it is very important that you take the best decision at that point of time, and that make the best use of it, and make sure that you be persistent towards your goal, and then start working on it. Because there is always trough, there is always a trough, and there is crest. So if it is going all well, in few years, there is a possibility of things going bad. And if it is going bad at that point, like in COVID, yes, after COVID, things are now soaring high. So
Yes.
it is important for pilots and aspiring pilots to know that we need to make the best decision and make best use of time at that point of time. So that's why nowadays talking to many pilots who are planning to appear for upcoming exam, and then just seeking some guidance like what to do, what not. So this is my advice to them, and the ones who are starting their career at this time. So if you are starting it right now, try to finish it soon and make the best use of today's available opportunities, and then go ahead. So
Yes, and also one thing I noticed is the market difference. So in 2013, if you compare the markets of 2013 and 2023, the Indian aviation market is way bigger than it used to be in the year 2013.
absolutely.
So right now, the airlines, they have an orders of over 500 aircraft, if you see. And earlier in 2013, this number wasn't even there for all the airlines combined, right?
Correct.
So the opportunities right now are more than you compare it in the year 2013.
Absolutely.
So the times have changed, but again, with that said, the competition is also there. So how
Absolutely.
this one does their training
Correct.
matters a lot.
Absolutely.
And the
Then-
highs and lows in aviation market, okay, that depends on the situation, like how it is going to benefit the person.
Absolutely.
Okay, right now is the starting of a high. So if anyone is looking to start their career, 1 to 2 years from now, they will be definitely into the airline if they work hard on themselves, if they acquire the desired qualities of a pilot. And they can definitely you all can definitely reach out to us, because there are some mistakes which people make during their training or before starting their pilot training, like going to a wrong flight school, going to a wrong classes, wrong guidance, which can elongate their
Correct.
training period.
Pathway.
Training path.
Correct.
And their money and time gets wasted. And that
Absolutely.
if money, if everything was saved and that money was used for pilot training, and if the person gets wrong guidance, that the whole thing goes in vain.
Absolutely.
So whoever person you are taking advice from, make sure that person is working for an airline or
Correct.
is a pilot, so that you are guided in the right hand. And your Capt.Neha is there. I myself, I also guide students, and there's Nilay who is missing today.
Yes,
So
today
he
we are
also
missing
guides
him.
aspiring pilots. So we all are working for an airline, and we do guide students on a daily basis. So
Absolutely.
you guys can definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to guide. And yeah.
Absolutely. So in 2008, 9, 10, these things started because of global recession. All the airlines put their orders for later, as well as Kingfisher Airline, which was said to be the five-star airline of India, that shut down in 2011. Since that fleet of Kingfisher was Airbus 320, the airlines which had Airbus 320 absorbed all those pilots, as well as the ground force, as well as the cabin crew, because of which the vacancy for all these designations was put for later, and they got experienced crew members. So because of that, the airlines which had this aircraft and all the ground force, since it got absorbed by other airlines, there was no vacancy for pilots in other airlines. And the major vacancy then which came for all the CPL holders who could apply for airlines, that was in the year 2015. So the ones who got their CPL in 2008 and 9, 10, they had to wait for a very long time, because the trough was for a very long time. First of all, because of global recession, thereafter another airline which shut down in India. So any airline shutting down has a lot of effects on in aviation market in that particular state. So because of that, it went pretty long. So this duration, I was a part of that period where we also had to suffer. So lot of students, lot of CPL holders were waiting, and when the first opportunity for all CPL holders came up, we had to put in our level best to give the best shot in that year. That was back in 2015. In 2015, then many vacancies came. It continued 2016, 17, 18 for that matter. It was a very golden era. It was a golden era, and many vacancies by many airlines, as well as new airline Vistara started their operations back in 2015. So because of that, also many pilots were absorbed there who were experienced and even freshers. So that way, it was good period till 2018. Now in 2019, Jet Airways shut down. Followed by that, COVID hit. Because of that, again, the things were put on hold. Like the one who were inducted, who were on letter of intent, their inductions obviously were delayed, because airlines that time were on a small scale operation because of the lesser requirement by passengers and because of too many restrictions because of COVID. And that went on for a couple of years. And now again, things have become bright. So if you can see the story of last 15 years, how things have gone,
Yes.
right? So it was dip, it was good, then again there was dip, and now it is good. So
Yes.
you need to make the best use of what you have at that point of time. And if you are having all the finances in place, and if you are desired to become a pilot, then you need to choose what pathway to go for, whether it is conventional pathway in domestic, whether to do flight training in India, or you do your flight training abroad, or you go for a cadet pilot program assessment if you want to go for it. If you have that much of financial backup, then can be considered. Okay, but of course it is not on a student. It is a stringent assessment process which needs to be
So to
cleared.
get anything, there is a process. So to
Absolutely.
get into the airline, you have to clear the interview. To get into the
Absolutely.
cadet pilot program, you also have to clear the interview.
Absolutely.
But what matters is how persistent you are, how consistent you are. So like if, for an example, if I see your career progress till now. So you are persistent after you get your CPL. You're persistent that one day you'll definitely get into the airlines.
Correct.
So due to the factors, due to the global recession, due to the airline going down, you didn't get chance or you didn't get an opportunity to give the airline interview. But as soon as the first opportunity came, you gave in your 100% and you
Absolutely.
turned that opportunity into a job.
Absolutely.
And then it was your dream to sit in the airline cockpit, and you did it.
Absolutely.
Right? So that span, right? So when the things get tougher, when the situation is tough, people tend to give up too quickly, right?
Correct.
So the person who stick to it, the person who put in hard work, no matter how hard the situation get,
Absolutely.
definitely get the fruits of it later in their life, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it is very important that if in case it is low, then if you are still desirous to become a pilot, that's not a bad time to start. You can start, finish it. By the time you get, you might have and most certainly have the opportunity waiting for you. So that way, the one who started in 2021, some of our students who were there for the CNTAA course, and they completed their CPL exams, went for flight training, they are back, and now they are going for these airline assessments. So that's amazing. Right?
That's great. Yeah, so soon the people who have started, I think in the year 2020 December or Jan of 2021 when the on-demand classes started. Yeah, so those students who had gone their CPL, so I think 1 or 2 students have got the CPL and they will be going for the airline assessment. And there are 3-4 more students who will be getting their CPL in the next 3 to 4 months. Once they complete their training in the US and then come to India, they convert their license, and then there will be for sure vacancy within the first 6 months, and if they work hard, they'll get into the airline.
Correct.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now if you look at the airline industry, so most of the experienced pilots who want to move to Widebody or who want to move outside India, they are moving to the Gulf, because now Gulf is coming up with a new airline which is from Riyadh. I'm not sure about the name yet. It's Riyadh or...
no.
So the airline is from
Flynas.
Riyadh. No,
Flynas.
not Flynas. It's Riyadh.
Riyadh Air.
No, Riyadh. So the airline, so I'm not sure about the name, but the airline is from Riyadh, and they are coming up with an airline, and it's head-on competition with Emirates, Etihad. I mean the top airlines in the world. So they are coming up with luxurious airlines, and they would be competing with the Emirates, with the Etihad, with Qatar Airways. So for that, they require pilots, experienced pilots. So so the pilots who have experience in India, if they are willing to move to the Gulf for better salary, for better job opportunities, to fly a wide body, okay, if they go to Gulf, there will be room created in the airlines in India, which will create more job opportunities for the aspiring pilots.
That's basically if they go to Saudi. So Saudi has come up with this airline, but that's not for female pilots. It is only for male pilots. And that is the reason why I was not quite excited for it.
I wasn't aware about this thing.
It's so whether it is Singapore Airline or it is airlines in Saudi especially. So that they come up with vacancy only for male pilots. They're being a bit sexist, but whatever it is. So that's the reason why and they're getting paid really well. Almost whatever is captain salary, that is a first officer salary there. Whatever is captain salary here in India, that is a first officer salary there in Saudi. So the one who have certain experience with ATPL, they can apply to airlines in Gulf or Saudi, and if they get selected, then they would have to choose to have a base in Riyadh or Dammam or Jeddah. Yeah. They have these 3 bases. Yes.
So basically, the main reason why the Gulf salary is high is the salary is not much of a difference as 20, 25 or 30% more than if you compare it with India, but the taxes are way low.
Correct.
So that is the main reason why pilots earn more in the Gulf countries
Correct.
when you compare it with India.
Correct. So, having said that, some airlines in India have hiked the salary, which is to retain pilots as well as to attract the new pilots to their to their airline. And yes, that is one of the thing which pilots look for when will I get a salary hike or.
Yes, definitely. Salary is an important part of a pilot's life because the training cost. So if you see the training cost from
Yes.
start to end, it's a lot. Many of the aspiring pilots might have taken loans. So for them, salary is definitely important.
Correct.
And otherwise, who doesn't like to earn more money?
Absolutely, absolutely. So some pilots ask regarding, and we have addressed this thing earlier, that whether Boeing or Airbus type rating. So Boeing 737 or Airbus 320. So nowadays, Air India has come up with even a vacancy for 777 first officers, where the ones who have 737 type rating, they can apply for 777 vacancy. Because the thing is, it is not necessary that they need to do their type rating of Boeing 777 in order to apply. Afterwards,
Yes.
even if you have Boeing 737 type rating, then airline, once you sign LOI with that airline, then you will have to pay for type rating for Boeing 777, for which you will have to again sign a bond and for certain number of years, like 5 years is a standard which many airlines do make pilots sign their bond, which is for first officers, the first vacancy. So basically, it is not necessary that you will be restricted only to narrow body. And as the airlines are coming up with wide body vacancy, even that is an opportunity if in case that particular vacancy comes, if you're lucky at that point of time. So because nobody goes for a wide body type rating
On
to
their
start
own,
with.
yeah.
They would either go for ATR type rating or Boeing 737 type rating or Airbus 320 type rating. Some people ask that Airbus 320 has too many people at the moment, so whether they should go for it or not. Again, if you are good at that particular point of time for whichever vacancy you're applying, you will get through. Obviously, when you are a CPL holder and applying for that vacancy, the number of applicants are many. Like there will be in thousands, like 2,000 or 3,000. Whereas, if in case you are applying for a type-rated pilot vacancy, then the number of applicants are in hundreds, like 3 or 4 hundreds. In that case, you do eliminate a lot of competition, or you do eliminate the total number of applicants to whom you are competing with in that particular vacancy. But that does not mean all those 300, 400 will get inducted. They will just select maybe 30, 40 who are the best out of them, even if they need hundreds, few hundreds.
Yes.
So that is how the strategy goes. And whether you're applying for a CPL pilot vacancy or type-rated vacancy, you need to ensure that along with all these subjects which we mentioned before, they need to study for that particular aircraft specifics as well, like all the systems in detail. So the amount of study you need to do along with your CPL and ATPL studies, you need to do the specific aircraft type systems also. So those are the things which go without saying. Like if you're type rated, then yes, memory items, limitations, the systems knowledge, all this thing also needs to be
that
studied
is important,
in detail.
and thorough knowledge about the company is also important.
The general knowledge,
Yes,
company SOPs can be studied later, as as we discussed in the previous podcast, what you need to do during your airline training.
Okay.
So that time company SOPs can be studied, but before you go for that airline's interview, you need to know a brief about that airline progress, where it stands, how many aircrafts it has, when it started operations, which was the first flight, what is the company exactly stands for, those things, which are a very important part of your interview, because you're applying for that particular airline. So definitely you need to know.
Yes, and so we discussed a lot of things, and that leads to only one thing, that if someone wants to become a pilot and has finances in place, this is a great opportunity to become a
Absolutely.
pilot. And if you are someone who have cleared your 12th exams and you want to become a pilot, you can start with your class 2 medicals. You can join a DGCA ground school to prepare for your DGCA exams. If you don't know which are the best DGCA ground school, CNTAA is one of the best DGCA ground school. It is located in Mumbai. You can do your DGCA exam preparation at CNTAA from any corner of the world. So yeah, and this once you are done with the DGCA exams, then you do your flight training, and once you're done with your flight training, you go for the airline interview. So this
Absolutely.
whole time period would take around 2 years. And if you are someone who are in 12th and figuring whether you want to go for a degree or pilot training, but if your goal is ultimately to become a pilot, then there is no requirement of a degree to become a pilot. You can start right after your 12th, provided you have the funds for your pilot training. If someone doesn't have funds for pilot training, they can go for a degree, save some money, and then go for pilot training. But if you have funds, right now would be a great time to start your pilot
Absolutely.
training.
Yes, absolutely. Today, yes, we are missing some fun part from Nilay, and
Yeah.
yes, we are missing him. Today, he's occupied in some other activities at training centers, because of which he's not there. So, yep, hope to see him
In the next
soon in
podcast.
the next
Yeah, comment
podcast,
down
yeah.
below if you want to see him in the next podcast, or comment down below if you miss him in this podcast. And it was nice having you on this podcast. If you need any guidance from us to become a pilot, if you have any questions, you can drop in the comment section. You can reach out to us on our Instagrams, and we'll be happy to guide you. That's it. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Hope this outline of how you should prepare for this airline preparation has helped you. And if you have any queries, if you want to know more information about it, you can comment down or you can DM us. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Take care.